Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well, staying safe, keeping your mask on. We're gonna be starting with Bud Not Buddy, the third read, analyzing dialogue. Now, this section you're supposed to read the part and I'm supposed to talk to you about it. But since you're all the way in your home and I'm not here in the classroom with me, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask a fellow teacher to read the story with me so you can listen to it and see if you can pick up specifically, the dialect, especially differences that let you know that you are listening to people who are talking in 1936, okay? So we're gonna start doing that like right now. Hello again, with me is Mr. Castro. He's gonna be helping me out here real quick. So let's begin. Bud, Not Buddy, Chapter 8 by Christopher Paul Curtis. Something stepped on a little stick. As soon as the twig cracked, my eyes snapped open and I was wide awake. I held my breath and kept it still as I could. Whatever it was that was sneaking up on me knew I'd woken up because it stopped moving and kept as still as it could too. Even though my head was still under my blanket, I could feel two eyes staring at me real hard, and I knew these weren't critter eyes. These eyes made the hair on the back of my neck rise up the way only human eyes can do. Without wiggling or jiggling around too much under my blanket, I got my fingers wrapped around the jackknife. Right when I was ready to push the covers off me and start running or stabbing, whoever it was that had been watching jumped right on top of me. I was trapped as a roach under a dish rag. It was Bugs. When I tried to talk, it felt like I had to suck all the air out of it. I finally got breathing right and said, "Doggone it, Bugs, it is me. You nearly scared me to death." He got off me and I threw the blankets over the side. No, that's me, I'm sorry. "You don't know how lucky you are. I was just about fixing to stab you in the heart." Bugs looked like he knew he just had a real close call. He said,
"I'm sorry, Bud. I didn't mean to scare you, but everybody knows how you like to sleep with that knife open, so I figured I'd best grab hold of you so you wouldn't wake up slicing nobody."
"Shucks." Even though it was Bugs who'd come real close to getting his heart poked, I was the one who was still having trouble catching my breath. I asked, "How come you aren't back at the home?" But before he had a chance to answer, I knew. "You're on the lam," Bugs said.
"Yup, I'm going back to riding the rails. When I heard about you beating that kid up so bad that you had to take off, I figured it was time for me to get going too. I thought you might be hanging around the library, so I come down to see if you wanted to go with me."
"Where you headed?"
"There's always fruits to be picked out west. I heard we can make enough money to get by out there. There's supposed to be a train leaving sometime tomorrow. Did you really beat that kid up in the foster home?"
I said, "Uh-huh. We kind of had a fight. How long's it take to get out west?" Bugs said,
"Depends on how many trains you got to hop. Was he really 2 years older than you?"
"Uh-huh. He was 12. Is it fun to hop on a train?"
"Some of the time it is. Some of the time it's scary. We heard he was kind of big too, was he?"
"Allow me," I said. "He was pretty big. I can't see how we can hop on a train. They look like they're moving pretty doggone fast."
"Most times you don't hop them when they're going fast. Most times you try to climb on one when it's sitting in the train yard. Did the guy cry after you whoop him?"
"Well, kind of. He looked real scared. Then told his mama to keep me away from him. They even said I was a hoodlum. Will we be sleeping on the train and everything?"
"Sure we will. Some of the time the train don't stop for 2 or 3 days. Man, I always try to tell people that just because someone's skinny, it don't mean they can't fight. You're a hero now, Bud."
"Nah, I didn't really do nothing much." "Well, how about the toilet? How are we going to use the toilet if the train doesn't stop?" Bugs said.
You just kind of lean out of the door and go.
"When the train's still moving?"
"Yeah, you get a real nice breeze."
"Oh man, that sounds great. Count me in. I can't wait." Buck spit a big glob of slub in his hat and said,
I knew I could depend on you, Bud.
I spit a big glob in my hat and said, we're brothers forever, Bugs. We slapped our hands together as hard as we could and got our slobs mixed up real good. Then waved them in the air so they'd dry. Now it was official. I finally had a brother. Buck said,
We'll go down to the mission. There's bound to be someone there that knows about where we can hop this train. Then we'll be on the lam together.
well, we read the little section. Let's continue with the class now. Thank you to Mr. Castro. All right, so we're back. Now we heard Mr. Castro, thanks again to him, helping us with the reading. Now, I want you to listen closely to what we said. Go back, listen to it again, as many times as possible. And as you're listening to it, try to underline and mark and focus on the dialogue. Now, we're not actors, but we certainly did try to sound as believable as possible. Remember that the conversation between Bud and Bugs matches the time and place in which they live. If a character's speech is to sound realistic, it must reflect the dialect of the setting. Dialect refers to the spelling, sounds, grammar, and pronunciation used by a particular group of people. Dialect reflects the specific area in which a person lives and often their social and educational backgrounds. Notice the use of dialect in the example for the book To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Reckon I have. Almost died first year. I come to school and ate them pickings. Folks say he sent them an M over on the school side of the fence. Reckon means I think. Come, it's supposed to be came. Et is ate. And pissing them is poisoned them. Look over the words that you boxed during your second reading and complete the following chart with the examples of the dialect for both characters. Now, in this box over here, what you're going to do is that you're going to add moments in which the characters, Bud and Bugs, use terms of the time they are living in. Old school terms, like doggone it. For example, instead of saying because, it says cause when Bud talks. And in the case of Bugs, instead of saying grab a hold of, it says grab hold of. I'm going to ask you to answer a couple of questions that I'm going to be adding to the lesson, as well as answering the questions in page 18, right? The questions are, it says, another interesting thing about the dialogue between the two boys is that they are carrying on two conversations at the same time. One asks a question and the other answers it, and then immediately asks another question about something else. That's, for example, while Bud was trying to learn more about riding the rails, Bugs wanted to know about the fight. So Bud would ask a question regarding riding the rails, and Bugs would answer the question and then add his question about the fight. The questions I want you to answer are: what does Bud want to talk about? 2, what is Bugs more interested in hearing about? And 3, what can you infer about the characters' relationship based on their rapid conversation? Finally, I want you to write a few paragraphs about that explain the dialogue between Bugs and Bud and reveals their personalities and their friendship. Using the questions I'm asking you, write a couple of paragraphs. I'm going to say 2, 3 sentences each. Okay, and you're gonna just talk to me about how their relationship works. Who are they? Close friends? Are they distant relatives or distant friends? I'm sorry. Do they seem to be comfortable with each other? That sort of thing. And those 2 short 3-sentence paragraphs. I'm gonna add all that information in the assignment. Okay. Thank you very much again to Mr. Castro. I hope you stay doing well, stay safe, keep your mask on, and I'll see you guys in the next time. Bye bye.